Welcome back. It's still the Bumper Breakfast Show, and right about now we will be looking at one of the industries, one of the sectors in the Nigerian system, the Nigerian economy, the construction industry particularly. That's where we're focusing our spotlight on today. The construction industry is a sector of the Nigerian economy that is engaged in the preparation of land, of construction, alteration and repair of buildings. You have structures like bridges, like flyovers, and other real estate property. When construction is mentioned, usually the first thing that comes to your mind is building. Generally, you just think building. And in commerce, construction is usually placed under primary production. Construction is a high hazard industry that comprises of a wide range of activity. You have the engineers, that's the building engineers, you have the architects, you have the quantity surveyors, you have the other surveyors. The quantity surveyors are different from the other land surveyors. You have the builders, you have the civil engineers, you have the mechanical engineers. Usually everyone in that particular space gets to play a role in the construction industry. And so whether you're building a residential building, or you're looking at building a bridge, or you're even looking at erecting a large maybe a flyover, or you're looking at a large scale painting, whatever it is, it all comes under construction. We have with us in the studio this morning, looking at the issues ravaging the Nigerian construction sector. We have with us this morning the chairman of the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors in Lagos State, Mr. Ayuba Akere. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning. In recent times, thanks for coming on the show, by the way.
Thank you.
In recent times, we've discovered that we've had a lot of building collapse. We've had a lot of, it's not limited to Lagos. It seems as if in Lagos we had quite a number of them. We had buildings that were demolished, still in Lagos. In Ibadan, we had buildings that collapsed. We had some buildings that rain affected, and so they got halfway, demolished themselves. We had in Osun State, there was a heavy downpour of rain, and houses in a particular area just got all the way collapsed. And then we had a recent one, I think in Ekiti State as well. So we've had issues of building collapse all over the country. And this is just talking the southwest, not looking at the people in Mboyi, the people in Delta, the people who are even live in the riverine areas, who have constant issue with water, constant contact with water. I remember the people in the Laje community a couple of weeks ago had issues with the pipeline or something, and it affected a lot of their buildings. So we're looking at this sector. And most recently, one of a colleague in the business, a channel's correspondent, went to the Third Mainland Bridge, and I saw that particular video. I wish I could play the video, and she looked at the joints of the bridge. It was, as the cars were passing, did you see the video? As the cars were passing, it was opening and it kept closing back. And we have heard the government say that they would look at repairing those joints. They did that last year, did an evaluation of the bridge. I said, well, nothing has been done about that. What would you say are the issues mitigating against the construction industry in Nigeria? We keep having all of these issues.
Thank you very much. Like you rightly said, all the issues presently are what we have highlighted. Now, starting with the building collapse, so many factors abound, and the list is endless. Suffice to say that the key ones are not engaging the proper professionals. Yes. 2, developers trying to cut corners by not using the adequate materials. The list is endless.
And this is not even using substandard materials. This is not using enough materials.
It's part of what I'm saying.
Yes.
Trying to make more money, you are now using materials that are substandard, that are not adequate in terms of quantity that is required.
Yes.
Inadequate supervision, not following proper drawings. The engineering drawings are there. If they are not properly followed, all in the name of trying to shortcut, this is what will happen. a lot of things are happening that all stakeholders needs to be responsible. And in the light of this, the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors as a body has come up with a bill which has been passed on to the government, which we hope that this will come to the light of the day. And this bill is saying that all the stakeholders will be liable, including the owner of the building. Why? Because the owner of the building is expected to engage qualified professionals in the first instance. So if you are not doing that,
then you will be liable as well.
You will be liable as well. The professionals being engaged will be liable if they have not done their job as it is expected. Government agencies are supposed to come in to check. They will be liable if they have not done
their
due
jobs.
diligence. So these are part of the contents of this bill, and if it is being put into action, we are going to see that all these collapses.
So there will be sanity in the industry. It
will no longer be all commerce affairs.
Now, let's look at this bill that the quantity surveyors have proposed. I'm sure that your institute just decided that let's contribute our own quota to resolving some of these problems. Now, what are the other contents of this bill?
Now, when all the stakeholders are being involved, you find out that even the government, apart from the agency, for instance, in each state, the governor is supposed to be the chief security.
Yes, officer.
So if people working under him are not responsive, he will also be liable. So if you look at the chain of people who are being culpable now, it will bring in sanity. The building owner will ensure that he engages all professionals, qualified.
Professionals.
Qualified.
And how do you mean qualified?
You must be academically and professionally trained.
Okay.
You must have satisfied your professional examinations, depending on which body you are. For quantity surveyors, you must have passed through the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors examinations. You must have been registered by the Quantity Surveyors Registration Board of Nigeria. And that makes you a qualified registered quantity surveyor.
Right.
So if you have gone through that process, it is not likely that you are going to commit error while doing your job.
Now, for our viewers who really do not know the difference between a quantity surveyor and a land surveyor, what exactly is the role of these two people, these two groups of people in the construction industry?
We actually have three of them. The estate surveyors are also there.
The estate surveyors, land surveyors, and quantity surveyors. Right, you decided.
Quantity surveyors are people who have been professionally trained, like I've said.
Yes.
To monitor, advise properly, give cost advice for construction. They are engaged right from the inception of the project up to completion. Their main role, they are otherwise called construction cost experts.
Okay.
Their main role is to do contract administration, advise you properly on costing of structures, and they monitor from inception all the way.
Okay.
So right from the moment you start concepting that you need to build this structure, quantity surveyor must be involved.
Okay.
To guide you properly. What is your budget? This is what you are able to do. And all of that. Okay. So it becomes an issue when your budget is minimal and you are aspiring to do something big. From the onset, the quantity surveyor will be able to tell you,
this is what you can do
with this. These are the alternatives available if you cannot get
this particular thing that you desire.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that is where the quantity surveyor comes in. Land surveyors are majorly to the market location. You are getting a plot of land. Where is it? How is it located? How do we? So that is where they are. Estate surveyors, like we said, they are valuers and property market experts. Now, when the project has been completed, they come in to help you evaluate, sell out if you wish to, or getting tenants
into the building. All right, as quantity surveyors, who exactly does the soil testing and I know that on my street, for example, right now, there are areas of the streets that have a lot of water. They're not, they're prone to flooding because they have a, I don't know, what exactly do they call those areas? A dam, you know, somewhere behind the street. And it shares a boundary with some buildings, as it were. Now, with those kind of buildings, they have built, they've gotten to reinforce and reinforce and reinforce and reinforce, you know, more than enough times, that they're tired already of the reinforcing. Now they want to build in the same compound, they want to build up in the upper part of the compound that is not close to the water. And I saw that they were doing soil testing. And I said, who exactly? Did you employ professionals to do this? And he said, oh, they did. And in fact, it's costing them as much as it would have cost to do the foundation to actually do a soil test. Is that part of the assignment of a quantity survey?
No, that is not the assignment of the quantity survey.
Okay, so who exactly does?
We have geotechnical people.
Okay, okay.
And it's ideal to do that before you do anything.
Any building. Now let's talk to our viewers. What exactly, explain to them the importance of doing that kind of soil test before you put up a structure, no matter how small it is.
The way the process goes, once you have your survey, which is done by the land surveyor.
The land surveyor.
You are coming up with a building. Your first point of call is probably the architect, who will have done a design.
Okay.
The structural engineer comes in to put in the steel contents.
Okay.
Now, before the engineer go ahead to do all of this, he needs to design the foundation. In designing the foundation, he needs to know the content of the soil. And that is where the issue of the soil test comes in. So you need to get that done. And it is from that the structural engineer will be able to say, okay, this is the property of the soil. This is the kind of foundation that will be there. To do. There are so many types of foundation. So that will determine. Is it a good soil where you just do a strip foundation? Are you going to do raft foundation? Or it's so poor that you have to do what we call the what do I call that?
The one they put concrete and all the way and sink it right there into what's that thing they call it? German floor.
No.
Not even the German floor?
The German floor.
Oh, I know they do one that they have to dig all the one that like 20 feet into the ground. You have to put all the concrete into the ground to solidify the building. And now looking at the Lagos environment, do you think our people actually go through this process before they put up most of the buildings? There's a very, crazy trend of high-rise buildings everywhere.
You see, we have individuals and we have corporate bodies.
Okay.
We have individuals who are knowledgeable enough to know that these things have to be done the way it should be. Okay? When you meet such people, you'll be glad you are working with them because it makes your job easier. They know what is expected and everything flows. But where you have individuals who don't know, and you as a consultant needs to explain that this is the procedure,
yes,
you'll be lucky to have them. Now your job comes in to advise.
Yes.
If they don't take the advice,
you've done your part.
Corporate bodies are more inclined to follow procedures.
To follow the due process.
The due process. And so when you say high rise, you know that
they've done the due diligence before they put that building in place. Okay.
We are talking about pile foundation. That is the one we are talking about.
Yes. Oh, pile foundation. Oh, they call it pile foundation. Wow. All right. We've been talking about issues ravaging the Nigerian construction sector, and we're particularly concerned because quite a number of people now, we have real estate sellers everywhere. Everybody's selling land and all, and they just tell you to start building immediately, and you just go ahead and just get someone to do your foundation and people start putting up structures, and they say, my foundation is strong enough, let me just put another one on top of it, and they do it decking and all. Let's dissuade as such. What would be your advice to people who want to build right now, knowledgeable or not, professional or not, educated or not? What would be your advice to everyone?
generally speaking. Even the Bible says, before you start building, you must first count the cost to know if you are able to finish it or not. And that was where I started from, by saying you as a building owner must have a budget. This is what I have at hand, and this is the picture of what I'm looking at. Now the quantity surveyor from the onset will have to advise you. If you have this budget and you are looking at this, oh yes, it marries, you can go ahead. Okay. Or no, this budget is not adequate to give you this structure. This is what you can get
out of it.
Are you
okay
with that? Or you feel, well, I can source for money elsewhere, I still want my structure. So that's the decision of the client. Now, having agreed on what structure you want to put in place, like it has been said, all professionals need to do. Now, if you are designing a 10-story office block, for instance, the engineer will have done the necessary check, know the type of foundation to come up,
to put in place,
and that we are looking for a 10-story building, and so everything flies. Now, for a residential building where ab initio you are looking at a two-story structure, and that is what has been designed. That is what the engineers has
You won't wake up tomorrow like the people on the Lagos Island
all of a sudden,
and say you want to suddenly put more.
That provision has not been provided.
So you cannot do it.
So you cannot do it. All of these are the checks and balances
that would need to be put in place. And so
all stakeholders must be involved. And that is why we are saying the bill the Institute has proposed will take care of all stakeholders. You need to do your job as it should be. If you have a building approval for only 2-story building,
don't do more than that.
Otherwise, you change your plan, demolish what you have, and start afresh.
Wow, demolish what you have. The Nigerians agree.
Then stay with what you have done.
From
this will help us
to curtail the number of building collapse and the issues we have in this construction sector. We've been talking to Mr. Ayuba Akere, the chairman of the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors in Lagos State. For a final shot, how do people locate quantity surveyors, recognize the qualified and certified quantity surveyors?
Thank you for that question. We have a register.
Okay.
We have a register. The Quantity Surveyors Registration Board of Nigeria is the body.
Do they have a website?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Is the body recognized by the government, set up by the government to regulate the practice of quantity surveying in Nigeria. Okay. The Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyor is the umbrella body.
Okay.
It's an association of the quantity surveyors.
Okay.
So for you to be registered, first you pass through the examination of the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors. Okay. After passing through that, you get your number with them, and you then proceed to register with the Quantity Surveyors Registration Board. Okay. So the names of registered quantity surveyors
is actually on the website. All right, I would like to put out that website so that people can actually check. Okay. Do you have the website?
Oh yes.
All right, the website that you can check if you're going to build anything, no matter how small, whatever it is. There is a website set up by the government, the federal government institute or body that regulates quantity surveyors, and the website is please
www.qsrbn.org.ng.
So that's QSRVOBN, QSRBN.org.ng. That's www.qsrbn.org.ng, and that's the registered, parastatal of government that takes care of all quantity surveys. So you want to build anything, you want to confirm that the man you are engaging is registered first, so that you know if he's a true professional or a quack. Thank you so much for coming on the show. All right, so we'll run off on another break. When we come back, we're talking all women. Don't go away.